In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step how to create a free offer funnel. This strategy could potentially add hundreds of thousands to your annual GCI. By using a free offer solving the exact problems your dream clients have, you can expect to build trust at scale, become the go-to agent in your area, and outperform other agents without coming across as salesy. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to set it up. So if you've seen my videos in the past, you're probably aware of how funnels work. And this funnel framework is going to follow the exact same steps and approach with the free offer funnel as well. If you're not aware of what funnels are, they're a systemized approach to take people from just seeing you and not knowing anything about you all the way to becoming your client within an automated and manual hybrid approach in order to build trust with them at scale, because we're in a trust recession and the goal is to just generate more GCI for you as a realtor. So with this being said, all cold traffic is going to be in the awareness stage. They don't really know anything about you. They don't trust you. They don't really know you. And your job is to make them book a call and become clients as soon as possible. So, there's many different steps in this, which we're going to break down in a bit. This is just a high-level overview, but all funnels essentially have the same set of steps, regardless of whether you're running ads, you're cold calling, or you're getting referrals. Now, the typical realtor's funnel, this is essentially most realtors, when I speak to dozens and dozens and now hundreds and almost at this point probably thousands of realtors that I've worked with, had calls with, etc., they have probably one of these four different funnels. So what you're going to see is they'll have content, whether they post it on Instagram, Facebook, and basically on that piece of content, they're just asking them to, hey, call me, work with me, this is what I do. And they expect them to get them clients, or they do the same thing just with an IDX website. So they have their listings on it and they just have a contact me page, having people fill out their name, email, and phone number. They either run Facebook ads as well, which is another method, an instant form, basically just submitting their information, hey, work with me, if they even go that far, or just, hey, book a call with me with no real incentive. Or some realtors just rely on referrals and do absolutely nothing to get clients, which, speaks for itself. So what the free offer funnel is essentially the goal is to build trust at scale and as fast as possible. So we use YouTube ads, a million different reasons why I use YouTube ads. I break it down on my channel. We have obviously an intent-based targeting along with location targeting to basically target only those that are interested, that are in and motivated to buy or sell right now. Now, the key of the free offer aspect of the funnel is going to be the lead magnet. A lead magnet could be a video guide, it could be a custom home evaluation, an ebook, whatever it is. You want to offer free value while also making sure the value is worth money, like you'd actually pay for it. I use the $50 test in order to determine that. Is what I'm consuming right now worth $50? And how you can determine that is this information readily available on Google that you can find within 3-5 minutes? If not, if it's actually a systemized approach that provides real value, you're looking at a valuable lead magnet that's worth offering as free value to build actual trust. So you can host these things on opt-in pages and in turn collect their name, email, and phone number. But the difference is now the lead has an incentive to actually want to work with you, and they're testing to see if you're actually worth it. So the frame is completely different. And when you reach out, you actually have a reason to reach out. Now, from there, we also have a VSL and booking and opt-in page. This is where they can book a call directly with you. Most leads aren't going to just directly book a call with you. They're going to want to consume your value, etc. And this is why follow-up systems are so important to have in place. But about, I've noticed 10 to 15% of leads that submit their information on the opt-in page also book in a call. And from here, regardless if they book in a call or not, they're going to have a thank you page ending it all off. And essentially on the thank you page, all you're going to have is essentially just, thanks for signing up. I'm going to be contacting you shortly with the information you provided, whatever it is on your thank you page that can basically establish your credibility while also, appreciating them for taking the time to attempt to work with you. So you can have testimonials on there, a short biography, but keep it short and sweet. Now, there are 3 different ways that you can approach the situation once a lead actually comes into the pipeline. So there's 3 different reasons that the opt-in page is valuable. One, it captures the leads. So those that come into the opt-in page, consume your lead magnet or whatever, but don't book a call, they're going to be put down on email flows, and they're basically going to be pushed to eventually book a call directly on the calendar. You then have the ability to nurture the leads that come in. So you can essentially, if they do book a call, you can put them on a separate email flow that just solves their objections at scale, 5 to 10 most common objections that you get in your specific market to build that trust. And then finally, the unqualified leads that you get on a call with that aren't ready, or let's say you've called them a couple of times and they just aren't in the position to buy, or let's say they just didn't even answer. You can activate retargeting ads where essentially you can just take advantage of the mere exposure effect. Now, the mere exposure effect, you can look at it in 2 different ways. One of it is essentially just after they book in a call, sending them as much value as possible in order to keep you top of mind so they actually show up to the call and you provide them value before the call. But the other aspect of the mere exposure effect is to also just keep you top of mind for when a buyer or a seller, let's say, just is on a vacation or decides to do whatever people do for months on end. And that you're still going to be top of mind for them so that when they actually are like, okay, we actually need to get this in gear, I do need to buy a home or I do need to sell a home, there's some urgency there, they're going to think of you because you're in top of mind. And the other thing you can do is just add them to a newsletter as well. This can be your email. You can send physical letters, but emails just are more cost efficient. So for an example, this is my client Bill, and essentially we have the ad creative. What we did here is we just touched on the current pain points in the market. We had a solution to being able to sell your home fast in under an X amount of days, and how to increase the home's value while selling it in under 14 days or less. And essentially what we did is we had an ebook, or we had it in the form of an ebook, a PDF, which is actually a Gamma presentation, downloadable as a PDF, of course. And we hosted it on a landing page that we built out for them. And essentially, if you click here to claim the ebook, they would just submit their name and phone number for this specific situation. And that's all that was needed, because Bill would be able to call them. It would be sent directly to their phone as soon as they submit their information. And then they'd have the ability to book in a call. Now, what people would do is they would consume the lead magnet. Sometimes they wouldn't book a call with him, but after they consumed the value, saw that there was actually, value that was worth trusting Bill in, they then went back and booked a call directly into his calendar. We built all of this out for him. And essentially, we just hit them with follow-ups and reminders. We sent them over the ebook. We sent them over making sure that they were able to access the ebook okay. Once they replied, we then went and obviously Bill did his work to close the deal. So you're probably asking yourself, this is all great, but how do I actually create that offer and that lead magnet that actually builds that trust? So one thing that you have to understand is your content should naturally guide people towards an easy next step that they can take, a low barrier step that also gives them an incentive to actually want to learn more about you. If you're just saying book a call on your Facebook ad, work with me, call me, there's no incentive. And 99% of your audience is going to be turned off by this because they're not ready to hire anybody yet, and they don't know you well enough to take that leap. So what you want to think of a lead magnet as, or your free offer, is a bridge to bridge the large trust barrier gap between them not knowing you and trusting to actually work with you and become a partner and a client. And what this does is it lets people who enjoy your content take that next logical no-brainer step in getting something more comprehensive. So like a complete guide for Bill that solves their specific problem. And this is going to build trust at scale while giving them your contact information. So it's going to create a foundation for the relationship to just develop naturally instead of this strange sort of forced salesy approach. So the step 1 in creating your free offer is going to be choosing your audience. You want to choose a niche audience that you can specifically cater to with your lead magnet. So if you're good with first-time home buyers, choose them. You can, downsizers, empty nesters, investors, for sale by owner, whatever niche you specifically tailor towards the most, or you gravitate towards the most, choose that, or honestly just pick one, whatever one it is, because this is going to help narrow down your audience to work with exactly who you're looking for. Now, the step 2 is once you know your audience, let's say it's first-time home buyers, or just honestly just people that are looking to sell their home. It can be distressed sellers, for example. You should be able to identify their problems. So each individual lead magnet should solve a narrow problem. So for example, there's not enough homes on the market, mortgage rates are high, homes are less affordable. They might ask questions like, I don't know how much I can afford, I don't know how much my home's worth, I don't know what improvements are worth it for my home, et cetera, et cetera. And what your job is to basically have a solution to all of those specific problems that they're facing. And your lead magnet should narrowly solve one of these completely. You can do this by revealing a problem through an audit, an analysis, an inspection. You can have a free home prep consultation. That's a really good one. Or you can have something like a step one to a multi-step problem. For example, your home value is step one of selling. And the methods of consumption here are you can have like a PDF download, like a workbook, a worksheet, an ebook. You can have a checklist, a comparison guide. You can take a screenshot of any of these methods which make the most sense to you, that naturally you feel like represents your brand the most. Just solve their problems that you've identified through whatever consumption method makes the most sense. So for the rest of the funnel, you need to also be focusing on metrics, and you need to be tracking your metrics, because these are the main levers that are going to get you those outsized results. So for ad creatives, let's say you're posting YouTube ads, for example, you need to know your cost per click and, more importantly, your cost per lead, okay? And for your opt-in page or your landing page, you need to know your opt-in rate. Then for appointment setting, when they book a call on your calendar, you should know the booking percentage. And for sales, you should know your close rate as well. And with this, you can evaluate what your healthy ranges are and then which things should be improving, okay? So how you can improve your key metrics, for example, if let's say your ads aren't performing, make sure you have 5 different hooks, 2 different bodies, and this creates 10 different variations, so you know there's enough volume and there's enough data to be tested in order to make an educated decision on which lever to pull. Same with your opt-in page. You can swap out your headlines, your sub-headlines, your next steps, or maybe your testimonials, your FAQs. You can swap those out as well. For appointment setting, same thing. For example, you want to make sure that your follow-ups are immediate. You want to have email flows that solve actual real FAQs. If those aren't working, you can switch those up. Your newsletter, you should be making sure that if you don't have any of these assets, you want to be implementing them to begin with. But if they're not working, just swap them out. And the same with sales. So this is obvious. Your sales skills need to improve. You want to make sure your value proposition is very clear. And buyers and sellers presentations are another good thing you should always be implementing with any person that comes into your pipeline that books in a call. Now, if you're looking to dial your lead gen, but you don't know where to start, I help realtors, teams, and brokerages set up YouTube ad funnels just like the one I showed in this video. If you'd like to see exactly how this works and if YouTube ads make sense for your business, book a call with me within the description below. That aside, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.